Clutch with Keon Rose.
Hello, Chattanooga. You're listening to Nooga Radio 92.7 FM. The show is Clutch with Keon Rose. And we are going to open up the show here with a fantastic interview and someone who, if you are a diehard Braves fan, probably needs no introduction, but I'll go ahead and give an introduction anyway because it is really fun to read. Dale Murphy is going to be on the phone with us here. 18 seasons in the majors, 9 seasons with the Braves, the youngest player to ever win back-to-back MVPs in 82 and 83, 7-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glove winner, 4-time Silver Slugger winner, and his number 3 jersey is retired in Atlanta. Oh, and he's only been on the cover of Sports Illustrated 3 times. How are you doing, Mr. Murphy?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. What have you been up to these days?
Well, I think the latest project that people are talking about is my restaurant in Atlanta, about a 10-minute walk over the 285 bridge from SunTrust Park. I got really creative in the name and called it Murph's, and having a lot of fun there. We got some really good food, really getting a lot of good reviews, and I got some pictures and posters and things up there. And I actually have the 3 that was hanging in Turner Field. And when the Braves moved to SunTrust Park, they called me up and asked if I wanted it. So we got that in the restaurant too. So that's my latest project.
Oh, that's pretty nice. How long have you been open?
We opened last summer, opened in June, so we're coming up on a year now, and it really has been fun. I don't have any experience in anything like this, but I got 2 great partners who have been through it, and we put together a good menu, very, very casual burgers, wings, wraps, and but the quality is really good. We got one of the things I like, it's not my specialty, but we got fried cheese curds, which is definitely not a Southern thing, but we're getting a lot of converts.
Well, you can make a convert out of me on that one. I'm starting to get hungry is really what's happening right now.
Well, it's really good. We're really having fun.
I'm glad about that. And speaking of having fun, a lot of Braves fans have been having fun watching the Braves this season. Have you been following the Braves this season?
Oh yeah, yes. Well, and I follow them, but I think I'm like most Braves fans, especially interested in today and what happens with Acuna, and he's just going to be a fantastic player. It's hard to believe how young he is and how polished he is. But everybody's known for a few years they've been doing a tremendous job in having some great drafts. They got some great prospects. They got 10 legit. I may be undercounting, but at least 10 legitimate major league prospects. On the way. I think Austin Riley in AA is a guy to watch. Soroka's getting pretty close. Pitcher in Gwinnett, who's getting pretty close to being called up, and they just got a lot of good things going on. And but I'm just like everybody else, really interested to see how Acuna does.
What do you like the most about Acuna?
He has fun out there. He loves to play. I saw him play. Everybody likes. I shouldn't say that in a way that makes it sound like some don't like to play, but I think maybe some don't show it enough. I know I didn't show a lot of emotion out there, but I did enjoy playing. But he's kind of exuberant. Just really enjoys playing. I guess what I was going to say was you can really tell how much guys love to play when you see them in extended spring training, and there's literally no one in the stands watching them play, and you can see how they react during batting practice. And he's running balls down. It's 10 in the morning, and they're at it every day, and he's running balls down, making great catches in batting practice, and just having fun. And I think he's a great personality. I think he does everything well, so I can't really pick one thing out. I guess if push comes to shove, I think I would go with his defense. I'm really interested. I know he can cover a lot of ground. He's got a really good arm. But I think in today's game, that's not as much. It's not emphasized as much, which I like to see in outfielders. I think I just don't see a lot of really good defensive outfielders. And with him and Ender in the outfield, I think we're going to have, two of the best in the league. Eventually, everybody will know Acuna's really good at defense too. So, he plays the whole game, I guess. And I love guys that really work on their defense and really think about it.
On the phone with us here on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM, Atlanta Braves legend Dale Murphy. And you were talking about that big defensive difference in today's game. Is there another difference in today's game that bothers you? Because, I mean, I look at the league batting average. It's at 241. There's a lot of differences in the game. It feels like a lot of guys either, swing for home runs or strike out. Giancarlo Stanton is on pace to have about 300 strikeouts, which I don't think he'll actually hit that, but he's on pace for it. What changes in the game have you seen that you either like or don't like?
Well, there are some things that you got to be a little careful, when a guy from, I guess I'm a couple eras ago now, but because there's some things that are just fantastic about today's game. They're better athletes than we were. They're better younger than we were. They played a lot more baseball, so they get to the really good ones are really getting to the big leagues fast. I don't think baseball's ever been in a situation where the best players are this young. But there's just a couple, you can call them nitpicky things, but I think I would agree with you. I struck out a lot, so it's hard for me to say guys are striking out too much, but everybody's striking out. I mean, leadoff guys hitting in, hitting second. I mean, guys are striking out 100 times. It's not even, a concern. And I think that takes away from the game. Yeah, I like home runs too, but the more the ball is in play, the quicker the game is going to go. And a lot of strikeouts means slower games. I'll get to that in a minute. But the other thing is, I think the pitching is tougher now, so maybe that's one of the reasons for strikeouts. But I do know guys are trying to elevate the ball a lot, and you're going to get a lot of strikeouts. And I just think it slows the game down. There's more action when more balls are put in play. And one thing I'll tell you that really bothers me, and I've talked to a lot of coaches, is the base running. Now, it's something that doesn't even show up to the casual fan. To the serious fan, they'll see, they'll notice some base running mistakes. But I think because the guys are rushed so fast through the minor leagues that they don't get a lot of experience, base running and being a smart base runner takes a lot of you got to see a lot of situations that only comes from playing a lot of games. And the guys aren't really playing a lot of games in the minor leagues and don't see situations. And so sometimes they react in a way that they, it's just not good base running. And many of the guys I've talked to that see these kids play day in and day out are concerned about it too. And I think even though they played a lot more when they are younger, I'm not so sure. Sometimes when you play so many games, you just play and you don't think about it. And those would be, some of the things that come to mind. Having said that, I think we got some of the best players in the history of the game that are playing now. So, those are a couple little things that concern me. And I'm also more progressive on trying some things to speed up the pace of play and the time of games. I wouldn't have a problem with the pitch clock and, a few other things to get things going.
Which I was going to ask you about that. We're on the phones with us, Atlanta Braves legend Dale Murphy. Number is retired at SunTrust Park. But because I'm 28 years old, I love baseball. I feel a little bit like an outlier. My brother is 2 years younger than me. Can't stand it. It's weird. We go to the park. He loves the game, but watching it on TV, he can't seem to have an attention span long enough to watch the game. What would you do to make the game more entertaining?
Well, and that concerns the reason why I'm concerned is we have some very loyal baseball fans like you that enjoy watching it on TV. I don't think there's any sport that most fans sit and watch, literally the whole game. Maybe football, but even, you know what I'm saying? Every sport gets a little more exciting in the playoffs. But what I'm concerned about is, people your age that enjoy the game. I'm not sure. I know at one point our demographics of the baseball fan were older. And so, we got to be progressive into lowering, the age of our average fan, because we want people to go to the games and 20 years from now. And, we got a lot of kids playing, but there is a lot of competition too. Lacrosse, soccer, there's just a lot of things that don't involve sports. Kids are doing a lot of things. So that concerns me. So what can we do? If you go to a basketball game, it's going to be about 2 hours. I mean, I don't think we'll ever get to 2-hour games on average, but 3-hour games are not going to work. Take the Atlanta Braves, for instance. They start at 7:30. I mean, by the fifth inning, it's 9:30. So I don't know exactly. We got to figure out how to speed things up. I think one thing you do is call more strikes. I think another thing you do is have a pitch clock. I think another thing you do, which and I think the pitch clock is somewhat going now, but get really strict with it. Trips to the mound, I think, are a problem. The style of the game is a lot of relievers at the end of the game. We got 13 pitching staffs that are 13 deep because of this. When the game gets to the fifth or sixth inning, it just comes to a halt. We got to figure out how to speed that process up and get more young eyeballs on the game. And I think we got to let these guys show some personality. We got to market. We can market better to young players, to young people, and we may, and just keep doing what we're doing to try to get more kids to play. But we got to get more eyeballs from the younger generation, in the stadium and on TV. So, let's let's be progressive. Let's not be so slow in trying some things.
Atlanta Braves legend Dale Murphy joining us on the phones here, 92.7 FM, Clutch with Keon Rose. Coming up to the end of our time here a little bit, but I have one question. I am curious. You, from what I understand, have a son who played football. Why football over baseball?
Well, they all played baseball at one time or another. Even my daughter, Maddie, played, but and then I had my son Taylor played into college, and he got hurt and decided to hit the books. And I ended up with some big kids that love football. Sean was drafted in 2008 with Miami. Jake went to camp with, I'm trying to think, in about 5 years ago with Oakland, and was with Cincinnati and for a while. And they're both done playing now. And then now I got another son, McKay, who's graduated from Weber State and had a great pro day the other day. And, we're really interested to see if something happens this weekend in the draft. So I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I didn't like football that much, but they love it.
Well, go ahead and I'll let you get out of here, Mr. Murphy, but thank you so much for joining us on the show today and being so gracious with your time. And we hope to have you back.
Hey, well, I'd love to. I just want to say thank you for the interview. I love to reminisce about the 80s too. Maybe we can do that next time I come on. But I also enjoy the game now, and I'm really interested. I appreciate the questions, because I think we need to address some of these things for the health of the game. I think it's good. I just think it can be better. So, the more we can talk about it and discuss these things, I'm happy to do it. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. I love picking the brains of legends such as yourself, and so I definitely appreciate you coming on. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Anytime.
And that was Dale Murphy. You're listening to 92.7 FM Nuga Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. And yeah, that was absolutely fun.
Yeah, that as a Braves fan was probably one of the greatest moments of my life. Getting to sit and listen to Dale Murphy talk about baseball. He's right though. We've got to speed up the game to keep these attention spans. We talked about it earlier. People's attention spans are so low now and so short that you've got to have a way to keep them entertained. It's good to see guys who are old time baseball players from the 80s wanting this to happen because they understand this game is great and they want it to continue to be great.
Yeah. And it was also nice to hear the things that he enjoys about the game now.
Yeah.
That's something that, because there is a certain level of like sour grapes that you hear in a lot of other sports.
NBA especially.
The NBA in particular is probably the worst about it, where you just have guys that are legends that have played, and the way they talk about it, it sounds like they hate the game now.
Mm-hmm.
To hear Dale Murphy talk about the game now and a lot of the things that are going well and a lot of the things that are right about the game, how we find really talented guys earlier and how fast. I mean, Ronald Acuna's 20.
Yeah, it's amazing to see those kind of things happen. But I think Dale hit the nail on the head with the slowing down part, is that there are 8-man bullpens. And the manager's like, oh, I got to match this lefty and righty up. They're too analytical now. Sometimes you got to manage with your gut. And, we talked about that with Gabe Kapler.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe Kapler is all about the analytics. And analytics has a place in every sport. But baseball's a gut game. Who's got it tonight? You play every day. So you got to know who's got it tonight.
Yeah, sometimes you just know. And because I've always thought this about analytics, because I love numbers. I'm a giant nerd. But the thing about it is, I think you use numbers to frame something. I don't think you use numbers to tell you what to do. So, for instance, like we know in the NBA, threes and driving to the basket are like the best shots you can take. But I'm not going to ask a guy to pass up an open 18-footer, to just, if he's got an open shot, go ahead and take it. Like maybe, a contested shot, you might want to figure out how to do something else. But like there's a certain level of using these numbers to frame what you already know, what your eyes tell you.
Well, and I think it's so much different in baseball than any other sport because they play every day. So sometimes you just don't have it that day, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So if I look at you and I can tell by your body language in the clubhouse before the game, in the dugout, in the bullpen, you don't have it today, I'm not going to call your number today. And that's okay, because I'll probably need you tomorrow.
It's a long season, and you've got to find a way to get through it. And I think that, being coached with a computer is probably not the best way to have that happen to you,
Right. And that's the problem, I think, with these managers. Everybody talked about Billy Beane and the way that he did things in Oakland and got the analytics movement started. And it worked, and the small ball worked and all that stuff. However, at some point, I'm going to call a guy's number. Like, remember obviously we weren't alive, but the World Series when Kirk Gibson was injured, Tommy Lasorda called because he had a gut feeling that Kirk Gibson's that guy right now. Even though he's hurt, he's going to be able to win me this ball game. And he did.
Yeah, and he did.
And those are the kind of things you got to go off your gut. You don't see those managers anymore. You don't see Bobby Cox. You don't see Tommy Lasorda. You don't see Tony La Russa, Joe Torre. You don't see those kind of managers. They were successful because they went with their gut.
Yeah, and I think that you can have a responsible melding of both of those things. Because I also don't want a manager that doesn't care about numbers and ignores it entirely. Because the reality is that they are important and they do serve a purpose.
Agreed. And to an extent, especially in matchups, like some pitchers can't pitch against right-handed hitters for whatever reason. Okay, if you're a bullpen pitcher and you can't do that, let me bring in the righty against the righty if he's good against that. Then yeah, you do that. But there's some guys, if they're a left-handed pitcher, they can get anybody out. But people like Gabe Kapler are going to go out there, it's a lefty versus a righty. I got to take the lefty out and put the righty in, even though my lefty's has a better batting average against righties than the lefty does.
Yeah, that's
or than the righty does.
It is a little bit annoying, but again, special thanks to Dale Murphy for coming.
Great
on.
Interview.
That is, one of the more fun interviews I think I've ever had, if not the most. That's the most fun interview I've ever had.
Yeah, he's everything I've ever heard is how great of a person he is and how willing he is to talk about baseball and how much he loves the sport. He can talk about Acuna. We'll get to that in a second, but he loves it just as much as Ronald Acuna does.
Yeah, and I wish we had more time, but we'll definitely have him back because that was way too much fun. You're listening to all new Nuga Radio, NugaRadio.com, 92.7 FM. Clutch with Keon Rose next.
Chattanooga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
Till 6 kids get 4 years. Jonathan Walker sentenced to 4 years in state prison for the deadly Woodmore bus crash, which killed 6 children. He'll be eligible for parole after serving 30% of his sentence. Family members of the victims wept as they heard his sentencing, which they believed was too short. 21-year-old Darius Moore was shot on Pinewood Avenue. The Chattanooga Police Department rushed to the scene. The victim was taken to the hospital. The police set up a crime scene. Now they're looking for a suspect. A former coach at Macaulay, who's now dead, is accused of sexual abuse. Students at Macaulay say that Carpenter was a basketball coach at Macaulay for 11 seasons until 1999. The Macaulay school put out a statement saying that 2 former students came forward saying that Steve Carpenter sexually abused them. The Board of Trustees at Macaulay is working on an investigation alongside the police. Russell Stroud, Nuga Radio News Talk, Action News now.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga weather. It's been mostly cloudy skies to continue through your nighttime. Overnight lows into the lower to middle 50s. More rain will push back in from the south and west on Thursday. A wet afternoon, highs only 60 to 62. Showers will end tomorrow night. Drier Friday with sunny and pleasant weather for the weekend. This forecast is brought to you by Hamilton Medical Center in Dalton. Trust your heart to the hospital. That is top 10% in the nation for heart attack treatment. That's Hamilton Medical Center in Dalton. And I'm Sworn Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Max Report.
Nuga Radio 92.7. Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM. Broadcasting live to over 1 million souls in Chattanooga, the Tennessee Valley, and beyond on frequency modulation 92.7. Sean Hannity, 25,000 watts on digital FM 95.3 HD4. CBS Radio News. NASCAR, Bloomberg Markets, David Tulip, streaming strong at NugaRadio.com. Live on YouTube and Facebook. Nuga Radio, News Talk 92.7. Chattanooga Radio.
I'm a gun enthusiast. I got my first .22 when I was 8. I hunt, shoot for sport, and sometimes blow off a little steam at the range. That's why I go to Shooter Supply. They have all my ammo and accessories. And if I find that next just gotta have it, I get that baby 12 months same as cash and 20% off on range membership. Big box stores can't do that. Shooter Supply can. Just look for the A-frame on Hickson Pike at 153. Shooter Supply. Buy there, shoot there.
Hey guys, do you need a mini man break? We know how busy you are, but don't let your hairstyle suffer. Come see the stylist at Sport Clips at Hamilton Place and let them treat you to the MVP experience. A precision haircut, legendary hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and relaxing neck and shoulder treatment, all while watching your favorite sports. No appointment needed. Sport Clips at Hamilton Place, located in front of Home Depot.
Cash, 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 and more. No, gold, 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 and more gold. Rick's got the gold, gold, gold. Don't miss out. Tired of bank rates as low as 1%? What? Then you need to go to Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. That's right. Rick guarantees profit. Get your Gold American Eagle certified by the federal government and get 8.1% profit. Guaranteed. Rick Davis, 5301 Brainerd Road. Rick Davis, Chattanooga. Gold, 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 and more gold.
Mom's furniture, her boxes of paperback romances, Mom's estate. Oh, call Dan. Dan will help you get on with your life. Let Dan clear the old house, take care of everything. He'll hand you a nice check. 314-4034. Dan, the cleanup man. 314-4034. In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with whom? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Let Goss Insurance in Chattanooga help you today. GossInsurance.wordpress.com. Goss, representing Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people. GossInsurance.com. Goss. GossInsurance.com. Representing Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people. 875-2500. 875-2500. Want a business phone system that gives you Outlook integration, Salesforce integration, smartphone integration? Why desk sets and expensive lines? Turn smartphones into a cohesive business system. Call Signal 619-1200. Signal Voice and Data 619-1200.
Nuga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nuga Radio, 92.7 FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk Nuga Radio.
Sharp, opinionated, thought-provoking. Clutch with Keon Rose.
Hello, Chattanooga. How are you doing? This is Clutch with Keon Rose here on 92.7 FM, Nuga Radio, and NugaRadio.com. I'm still jazzed about that Dale Murphy interview.
Yeah, man. I just wanted. He needs to come back on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to call him, but I know he's a busy guy.
Yeah, no, he's
got a life.
He does, and quite a few kids who are doing awesome things apparently in sports. I was not aware of how.
Me neither.
That they were all doing that well. I knew that he had the one kid that did play in the NFL. I didn't know his youngest was possibly getting drafted this weekend.
Yeah, so
which that's really awesome. You know, when you come from a family of an athlete, that's kind of what happens.
That is what happens, and you've got the good genes, and you just go ahead and see if you can make that happen. I was not fortunate enough to have
no, and
the athleticism. So yeah,
it's pretty amazing to be able to talk to somebody like that who really just knows the game as well as he does and understands its pitfalls and it's big. Oh boy, it's big. It's positives, and just watching the Braves here choke away another one, so it's great.
Yeah, we're at the end of the sixth here. Cincinnati leading Atlanta 4-3,
and all that happened in the middle of that interview.
Yeah,
where the Braves just completely fell apart.
So I'll have to rewatch that game.
Figure out what happened there.
Figure out what happened. Yeah, but. At least we had that interview to distract us.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Otherwise, I'd been yelling and cussing in the studio.
We don't want that.
Yeah. So
more specifically, the FCC doesn't want that.
Yeah.
The Cavs and the Pacers are also playing. They're tied at 56 here with 8 minutes to go in the third, and the Wizards currently lead the Raptors 70-68. Close game.
You're Wizards.
I am a Wizards fan. My Wizards, yes, and I'm trying not to pay attention to the score. Really. Outside of that update, I will be trying my best not to look because life of a Washington sports fan is usually nothing but disappointment and pain. And if you've been following me on Twitter, you know this.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, though. If you're going to match up against any of those top teams in the playoffs, the Raptors are the ones to do it because they find a way to choke.
They find a way to choke. And specifically, they found ways to choke to the Wizards specifically for a really long time.
Yeah, which that really doesn't make any sense to me. But sure, it works for them. Toronto's one of those teams, they're just kind of remind me of those Braves in the 90s from a different sport. They just have these really great regular seasons, and then the playoffs come around. It's just like,
yeah, there's just something about the team, and I don't know what it is because Kyle Lowry's a stand-up guy. He plays his butt off, but just something's not working when
Serge
they get there.
Ibaka is a great defender. I mean, I just don't understand what happened.
They have the best bench in basketball, and I think it's not even close.
Yeah,
most teams get rid of their bench around the playoffs. It's like, oh, cool, now we don't even have to use you. Perfect.
Yeah, and for some reason it bites them in the rear end that theirs is so good. And I don't understand. I don't know if it's because that they can't get in a rhythm because they use so many guys in the playoffs. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even think that that's it. I mean, for goodness sakes, I mean, DeRozan shoots threes now. It's just, I think though their bench, despite being the best, I will say this: they're young. They're very young. A couple of guys that are second year guys. You got Norm Powell, OG. Boy, I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. I'm not going to butcher it. Ogobunye, I think.
No, you keep it. Don't butcher it. Like Butch Jones.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
There's my Tennessee reference for the evening.
There's a Butch Jones shot. There'll be more of those.
Especially as football season comes around.
Until Jeremy Pruitt completely erases the memory of Butch Jones from our minds.
I don't know that that's ever going to happen. Not to completely derail from NBA basketball, but that Butch Jones memory is etched in my brain forever, and it is 5 years I can't get back. It's like one of the worst relationships you could ever have with a girl you just keep around too long.
Yeah, where
and you want her to be the one, but she's not, and she shows you over and over again for 5 years that she's not the one.
Borderline abusive, maybe a little bit emotionally manipulative.
It's like in, I don't know if you watched How I Met Your Mother, but the hot crazy scale.
Yes.
Butch Jones was not hot enough for how crazy he was, and that relationship just
it couldn't work.
It didn't, and we held on too long, and now we're sitting in relationship jail. And so,
yeah,
you know,
you hold on too long to that kind of person. That's how you end up with like your Blu-ray player flying out of a window while she screams at you. Yeah,
which is exactly what happened with Greg Schiano. So
yeah,
here we are, and now we have this girl that could be like this one could really be the one, but we're scared to want her to be the one
because you don't know what'll happen again.
Because we have Butch in our head.
Yeah,
it is a relationship. Is all it is. It's you keep that girl around too long. You kept her around 4 years too long, and now you're paying the piper.
I'm stealing that analogy and using it later this year when football season comes back because it's perfect.
It is. It's exactly what it is. And obviously, as a Tennessee fan and a Tennessee alum, season ticket holder, all that crap, I know it firsthand. The heartbreak that Butch Jones gives me. So
yeah, I mean, gosh, I got on the air just in time for the beginning of the Butch Jones era, and it was not what I hoped that it would be.
So he was hired the year I graduated. My second semester of my senior year was the spring he was hired, and I just remember sitting there going, Butch Jones.
Yeah, that
didn't
first
Derek
recruiting
Dooley
class was great.
Beat Butch Jones? Yeah, he did. That's okay. Because that's what Tennessee fans, they wanted a winner so bad that they were going to latch on to anything. Now Tennessee fans are like, no, give me somebody who can win, please.
Yeah.
Or we're not going to come to games anymore. We're just not going to do it. But
No,
anyway, we can get off Tennessee before I just take the last half hour.
Right. We just derail the entire show in that direction. I'm just saying. But yeah, so that's the NBA updates. But let's shift gears here a little bit to the NHL because the Preds are advancing in the playoffs. Yeah, wow. Got to grease the equipment here.
Interesting noise the mic just made.
Making strange noise. It sounded like a person.
It did, like yelping. It was weird. Anyway,
so we've got the Preds. Are they on tonight?
Friday night. Game 1 Friday night in Smashville. Should be a fun series. Already Twitter talking between the two franchises with Winnipeg and Nashville. No love lost between those two. So I think it's going to be a really fun series. You know, the two, I kind of alluded to it on your show on Monday, but Dustin Byfuglien and PK Subban's, the two personalities of the teams, going to be going head to head. Those two defensemen are going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be absolutely exciting.
And you know, it's going to be great. I think you're going to have to look at those first lines for both of those teams, the Patrick Laine line and the Philip Forsberg line, respectively for those two. And who wins that battle could mean a lot because they're both pretty deep teams. I think the Predators' fourth line probably a little bit better than the Jets, but it should be a fun series. Got two of the best goaltenders in the league.
Yeah.
With Connor Hellebuck and Pecorine, both Vezina finalists. So it's going to be a great series. I wouldn't be surprised if the winner of that series makes it to the finals, the Stanley Cup finals.
No, that's not going to be surprising at all. And I do think Nashville's going to make it back for sure. Again, yeah, you have to beat Winnipeg, beat the opponent in front of you. I just thought from the beginning of this playoff run.
I think the Predators, I think the best thing that happened to them was that series that took a little bit longer against Colorado was a wake-up call. They can't go through and just be, hey, yeah, we're the best team in the league all season long. You can't just walk through and expect to make the Stanley Cup finals. Ask your Capitals, because they have done that for years, winning the President's Trophy.
Essentially my whole life.
And then just crapping it away in the playoffs. And so I think the Predators, I think Peter Laviolette's going to be like, see, guys, I told you, yeah, we're good, but you still have to come out and play. And
they were underdogs last year, so this isn't a mentality that they have had to overcome.
They're not playing. They're not playing desperate hockey, and in the playoffs, and that's how they made that run last year. They were desperate. They played playoff game after playoff game before the playoffs even started, just to make the playoffs. They were the last team in the playoffs last year, the last team to make the playoffs, and then make the Stanley Cup. And then we're a couple of plays away from winning that Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and
so. It is a different mentality, but they've been there. They know how to do it. And if they just play some desperate hockey, they should win the cup. They're the best team in the NHL for a reason. They should win the cup. I think anything less than that is a failure.
You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose here on Nuga Radio and NugaRadio.com 92.7 FM. Looks like we've got some good things happening here for the Braves.
Well, about time.
The top of the seventh inning here. They're still trailing the Reds 4-3.
Never thought you go to Cincinnati with probably the worst team in major leagues right now and then have a chance of getting swept. Yeah, he's out.
That's absolutely.
He's out. Now they're going to challenge that. He's out. Okay.
Well, it's close from the other angle there. But yeah, that's bizarre to me because Cincinnati's terrible. And there's no reason to even.
Braves only lost one series all year, and it was to the Nationals, and now they're going to get swept by the Reds. I mean, come on.
That hurts.
Yeah.
I feel your pain on that one for sure. But I want to talk about the NBA a little bit because there's currently the Cavs and the Pacers are playing. That game is close. I do think the Cavs win this series. I am still entirely not confident about the prospect of them even making it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I'm not confident in the prospect they win this series.
Yeah, and I like even just looking at the score in this game, I am less confident.
This is in Cleveland, and if you're Cleveland, you just take home court advantage right back. You can't give it back again.
No,
and that's what you're doing right now by losing this game. If they lose this game,
now they're up 66-59 here, pulling away a little bit, but this isn't nearly enough. And you've got guys in Indiana that can really just shoot the lights out. That Bogdanovich is, he's got a green light to shoot whenever he likes. And when he's hot, he's about as good as anybody in the league.
I mean, the Pacers are shooting 51% right now for the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they look like they only have 3 points here in the third quarter with about halfway through it. So something's gone awry. They were probably shooting even better than that earlier. For Indiana to win the series, they just can't turn the ball over. They're deeper. They're a better team, in my opinion, than Cleveland.
I completely agree.
Now, Cleveland, if all things were equal, Cleveland would win because they have LeBron James and Indiana doesn't. But all things aren't equal. Indiana's a better basketball team.
Yeah, I mean, you just go through point guard, shooting guard, small forward.
The only position they lose is whatever LeBron is.
Yeah.
Whatever he decides to play that night. If it's power forward or small forward or whatever he wants to play.
But, I mean, you look at the battle of the bigs, and they're not winning that. You look at the battle of the guards, Victor Oladipo and Lance Stevenson are outplaying Jordan Clarkson, and I don't even know who else.
Well, I mean, even if you just look at the box score, you look at the balanced scoring that the Pacers have, and then you look at Cleveland, and it's 31 points for LeBron James, and then Kyle Korver has 11.
And do you not understand that you are in trouble if Kyle Korver is your second leading scorer on your basketball team? And I say this as a person who no one was more excited about Kyle Korver when he was completely lighting up the league in Atlanta, but he's old now and he can't be the second highest scorer on your team. He just can't, right?
No, he not if you want to Not if you want to win the championship. I mean, you may be able to win this series if that's the case, but you ain't winning the next one.
No.
You're not beating the Wizards who could win that series. You're not beating them.
And the Wizards, by the way, completely think that they're better than Cleveland and have thought so for years. Like this, like which is crazy, but like this is.
But if you look at it as from a team, they are.
Yeah,
I think every team in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference is better than Cleveland as a team.
Even if you were to go look at a team like Miami, that's clearly shorthanded in a lot of places, they're a better functioning unit than the Cleveland Cavaliers functioning unit. Now, obviously, LeBron James is all-purpose duct tape. He makes up for just so much that your team has problems, and LeBron James can just blanket all of it. But that's still as he's getting older, his ability to blanket all of your problems is simply not going to be as all-encompassing as it used to be.
No, but even when he was by himself, he didn't win a championship.
Right.
When he was doing it by himself, even when he was young, he couldn't do it by himself. But now he definitely can't.
I never doubted that they could go to the conference finals and all of that stuff. I seriously doubt they make it out of the second round if they get that far.
Yeah.
You know,
I wouldn't be surprised
they win
either.
this series. I just think in 3 games they
can win 2 of those.
Yeah, and I think that Indiana still shoots themselves in the foot enough times that they're not beating Cleveland. But that being said, I'm seriously doubting their ability to make it beyond the second round. You run into a team like the Wizards, you run into the Sixers, you run into.
I was about to say, even if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, they got to play the Sixers. And we talked about this a little bit last night. Nobody's beating the Sixers in the East, in my opinion. That's not happening right now.
I agree with you on that. I don't know if the Sixers can not beat the Sixers because of their age and how young they are.
If they lose, it's because of them. It's not because they got beat by somebody else.
Yeah.
And I agree.
And there's a certain level of experience that a lot of these other teams have that just like, you know, for most of the John Wall era, the Wizards have been in the playoffs. The Cavs have a lot of playoff experience as well. So that's just, to me, it's just tough to say that they're going to run through any of these other teams, but they are the toughest out. There's no team that if I were any of the other teams in the East, and honestly, some of the teams in the West, the Sixers are a team I don't want to face.
I think they're the one team right now I wouldn't want to face. Their confidence is through the roof.
And just the way that they play, they have like an old school, new school thing going on. They got a point guard that doesn't really shoot. They've got Embiid that plays on the block. I mean,
with Embiid back, you know, they haven't lost a game, right?
Right.
Do they lose a game?
I don't think so. And the reason why I think so is honestly, while nobody was paying attention, the center position has become the most important position on a basketball floor. So you look at what Anthony Davis is doing with the Pelicans, and you see how dominant the Sixers are with Embiid.
What about that finals right there? If that was the finals,
most fun, like I want that finals more than any other finals, and I know the Warriors would be absolutely fun to be back again.
I think everybody outside of San Francisco is starting to get some Warrior fatigue.
We are getting Warrior fatigue. I kind of want Steph to be a little bit hobbled, and I just want to see like Kevin Durant be a lead dog so that we can just put that.
I do love Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of his since like Texas, and Kevin Durant's from the same county that I'm from. When my family lived in Prince George's County in Maryland, that's where Kevin Durant's from. So it's like, oh yeah, I've been a fan of KD for a very.
And then he
very
played
long
at
time.
Texas,
and then he played at Texas, where that's my college team. So yeah,
I mean,
I've been a fan of his for a very long time.
Yeah.
I'd love for that to happen, but if not that, look, I've been wanting Anthony Davis to be the best player in the league for years, and it's happening.
It's great. It's fun to watch that series. I couldn't believe what I was watching when I watched some of those games. I was like, what is happening to Portland? Although Portland tends to do this in the playoffs, just like the Raptors. It's something about those small market teams with really good point guards that just can't get it done.
Yeah, well, and I think part of it, and this is why I think that the league has become a center's league again, is because everybody has good guards. Like there isn't anybody with bad guards anymore. You can have the elite level guards. You can have a Kyrie. You can have a Steph. But I mean, Drew Holiday dropped 33 points for the Pelicans. It's not about.
Well, to be fair, Drew Holiday, in my opinion, is really underrated.
He is
and
underrated.
He can be, and if he's not already an elite guard.
He is, but I'm saying that the list of elite guys is so long. Like, how many guys do you name before you name Drew Holiday? Like, it's not even disrespect towards Drew Holiday, who I like a lot.
Yeah.
It's just having a guard.
Could you imagine him back in Philly?
Now?
Yeah.
And the way that he shoots, I mean, he would feast.
Yeah. Yeah, he was probably like, why couldn't I have this talent when I was in Philly?
Just bad luck, man.
Yeah,
just
bad timing.
The timing wasn't there, but it's okay. You got Anthony Davis.
Yeah, you're fine.
And for some reason, we've resurrected playoff Rondo. Someone explain that one to me.
It's because it's the playoffs. Talk
That's
about
true.
guys who can just turn it on when they need to.
Is he the NBA's Joe Flacco? Like Eli Manning? Just get him into the postseason. I don't care how you get him in there, but once he's there, it's a switch.
It's done. You have those gamers. I mean, if you want to, I know a lot of people aren't big into hockey, but Jake Gensel for the Pittsburgh Penguins, that man couldn't do anything during the regular season. He scored 4 straight goals, not 4 goals in a game. He scored 4 straight. Literally, they were tied 3-3 with the Flyers, and he scored 4 goals to win the game.
They're just some. There's
those
like
guys.
That. Yeah, there's just the postseason guy that wakes up.
They have it. They have another level.
Yeah.
Compared and Rajon Rondo, I think, has always been one of those guys.
And he might actually be the argument for the way too cerebral player because I read an article on ESPN ages and ages ago called Rajon Rondo great at numbers, bad at people, and he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant,
yeah.
But he's never learned to relate to other people very
Not
well.
a people person.
Yeah, and I think that maybe if you have any worries or concerns about a guy like Josh Rosen or something being quote unquote too smart for the job, it's how you relate to people. If he relates to people just fine, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. Yep. But you're listening to all new Nuga Radio, NugaRadio.com here on 92.7 FM. Clutch with Keon Rose. Special thanks to Nick LeFew for joining me today, talking some playoff sports with me. And special thanks to Dale Murphy for joining us on the show in the first segment. Make sure to check us out on YouTube and Facebook. The interview will be up there in case you missed it. Clutch with Keon Rose, 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from